But smash a like on the video. It took a lot of effort to get back. There's a bird box there. Now I'm wondering how I can get back, but that hill was a bit steeper than I thought. Talking about coming back, so what, it's going to be easier to get up this hill than it is for Mason Mount to come back. Did you see his Instagram post? Basically saying that he is devastated. I come back in a different way, really. He is absolutely devastated around the injury, and he's been quite honest about that. And what he's basically saying is that Manchester United fans might not know a lot about him, but he will be back and he will be available. And, you know, the best is yet to come. Reece James has got involved because he's injury prone. It's almost like, where's Luke Shaw, Darren Anderton and other injury prone people. But I think that, look, I don't want to be harsh on this, but you know I'm going to be. I think with regards to Mason Mount, the Instagram post is absolutely fine. I've seen a few people criticise it. The Instagram post is absolutely fine in the sense that, yes, you know, you're devastated. But we are Manchester United. We are 13th in the league. We are nowhere near where we need to be. I know it's Christmas time, Band-Aid's playing, feed the world, but we've fed Mason a lot of money. And I don't have sympathy for him in the sense of, we don't have to wait for you. We don't have to go, oh, poor Mason. Like, at the end of the day, I know it's harsh, but 18 months, about 7 different injuries, 250 grand a week, £1 million a month, and you're not coming back. I don't think you're coming back to the level that you think you are. I think you've got an underlying problem, and I think you're going to come back again, and then there's going to be another breakdown, and then they'll come back, and that is horrible, and I understand the devastation of the player. But I remember Terry Cook, as part of the class of '92, was meant to be one of the best players. Most of you might have heard of him because he got bad injuries. There are so many people that never make the money or have the career that Mason Mount's had. He's won a Champions League. He's played for England. It's harsh, but it's, you know, they're not robots. They're footballers, and some human beings, when they are footballers, are very talented, but have bodies that break down. It's happening to Luke Shaw now. It happened to Phil Jones for years. I just saw that post last night and I was like, I feel really sorry for the lad, but what are we supposed to do as Manchester United fans? Sit and wait and go, oh, you know what? He's got the right character. He's got the right ability. Well, we know that. Amram said that. I'm sure he has. I think he's a very, very good player. But what are we supposed to do? It's like a wife or a husband when their other half's doing a 5-year stretch in prison and they're saying, wait for me. You don't know what they're up to in prison, in the showers, and you know you've got to wait there for 5 years. You may as well, you know, seal it up and no entry. Like, it's like a lot of people will do that, but we are Manchester United and we should be playing the field a little bit because we are an attractive proposition. Can't believe that story's sort of become that. But my point is, I think that Manchester United, we've got to move on from the Luke Shaws and the Mason Mounts. Everybody's very happy to talk about moving on Marcus Rashford or moving on Jadon Sancho. And I don't think that's wrong. But I also think in the elements of being ruthless and being aggressive, you also have got to be looking at moving on things that are problematic. And on the one hand, you might have a player like Casemiro, who's on 350k a week and is a bench player. You move that on because you can't pay 350 grand a week for a bench player. If Casemiro is on 70 grand a week, you're happy to keep him until he retires because he's a great player to have around, experience, can do a job here and there. But you can't pay 350 grand a week for Casemiro. On the other hand, you can't keep somebody like Marcus Rashford on 325k a week when he's not doing enough and, you know, he's unsettled and he needs a change. But on the other hand, I've got more hands than bloody an octopus. You can't keep Luke Shaw and Mason Mount, who are never fit. You just can't do it. It doesn't matter how good they are. I've said it so many times. Give me Harvey Barnes, who's fit 90% of the season and gives me 7 out of 10, over Mason Mount, who's fit for 30% of the season, but can sometimes give me an 8 or 9. Availability is the best ability, as we've said so many times. So, look, I haven't got a problem, and it wouldn't matter if I did have a problem with Mason Mount's post saying he's devastated. But what purpose does it serve, other than for him to say, I feel devastated, which we could see anyway? I think it's all about, you know, give me a chance, give me another chance, give me another chance. And look, I personally hope he can get back. I hope he can be a really important player. But personally, I think I've sort of given up on Mason Mount and Luke Shaw. Very, very good players, but I can't keep going through this. I said this at the start of the season about both players. They've got to stay fit till Christmas. I think Mount's had 4 injuries since that point. Luke Shaw didn't come back until nearly Christmas and then got injured again. So how do you focus on those sort of players? Another player that could be, I mean, look, again, Tutto Sport in Italy talking about Xerxes. Where do you stand on Xerxes? There's a lot for you to get in the comments on, and there's a lot of people putting comments in. Thank you very much. We've had a couple of super chats, which I can actually, I don't know what it's doing here. I'll come back to those in a minute. Can we get them on the screen? Yeah, it's playing up a little bit, but we are live, and we'll sort this out for later. I think in regards to the Xerxes story, just before we, just talking about injury, by the way, I don't want this to be about, Goldbridge is being harsh on Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, Casemiro. Can I just say, Lindelof, I saw this from Simon Stone. Victor Lindelof hasn't started a Premier League game. The last time he started a Premier League game for Manchester United was March, according to Simon Stone. That wasn't a Premier League game on Thursday. That was a Carabao Cup game. He's injured again. I mean, he's out of contract in the summer. If I ever hear the words, let's give Lindelof a new contract, again, this is all about ruthlessness. If Victor Lindelof was available every single week as a backup centre-back, you'd probably go, well, you know, maybe let's keep him, maybe not. But, I mean, come on, this is just ruthlessness in a bottle. Drink it, you know, easy. I also want to talk to you about Xerxes. Just as well, this Anthony stuff. I mean, look, I've said this for a long time. I don't know what it is with the media, but they don't like Anthony. Now, I like, Troy Deeney does Team of the Week on the BBC. I've met Troy Deeney a couple of times on the Ben Foster fill-in. I like Troy Deeney. I think he's probably one of the better ex-player pundits because he's just quite raw. You know, you never know what he's going to say. I think he's quite good. But it doesn't mean everything he says is good. And I saw this, he was on about Rashford, saying get rid of Rashford, which is fine. But then on Anthony, he was sort of like, they need to get rid of him as well, like almost give him away for free. When he went off on Thursday, you know, the team just suddenly started playing better, almost like they got rid of him. He doesn't run, he doesn't pass. And I just wanted to say, look, we've got a lot of bad players, but there is something in the British media about Anthony that has never sat quite right with me. Now, it might sound a bit funny because on Anthony, I'm going to say this. For 2 years, I was really excited. I wanted him to do well. I've given up on Anthony. You know, in the elements, in the era of ruthlessness, I've given up on Anthony. I want Manchester United to move on from Anthony. But that's a technical thing. I just think, like previous players, maybe Memphis Depay, etc., you come to Manchester United, a load of hype from the Eredivisie, and it doesn't quite work out. And I think that's what's happened with Anthony. So I don't like this whole, he's useless, he's shit, you know, the team don't respect him and all this, that and the other, because we don't really tend to treat players like that. And I don't think it's fair for the media to do it. Technically, I think he's lacking. That's my stance. But I think there's always been a bit of a pile-on, and I don't like it. I think we can be, as fans, we can overreact at times. I do it. But I think in the cold light of day, what's Anthony done that's any worse than a load of other people? I mean, he hasn't lived up to his transfer fee, but I do think that the people go over the top. Like, I think there's a venom towards Anthony in the media, and I think it goes back to that, fidget spinner thing. And look, we probably do need to part ways with Anthony, but for me, he's not in our top 5 problems. And for me, it comes down to technical ability. And I heard Amrim talking about him yesterday, and he basically said, look, he just needs to work harder on a few things, but we'll be moving him on. Like, we will be moving him on. But I do sometimes think that they go a little bit over the top in the media.
Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.